In this video, I'm going to be going over a lesson with you on how to draw and shade realistically. So let me start off by pointing something out to you that's probably going to change your perception of art forever. In reality, there are no lines. Remember that whole spiel that I gave at the elements of art and said that lines happen from here to here and A to B, stuff like that, and the difference between the lines are defined lines and implied lines? Well, in reality, implied lines are the only things that actually exist. Now, a defined line can happen, but only whenever you have a subject matter that is in front of a black silhouette or a black background, but even then you still have details inside of that object. So in reality, lines don't actually exist. So how are lines made? Well, lines are made by the difference of values between two different objects. So for instance, if you look at my hand right here, obviously you can see that there is some kind of a line that happens right there. However, if you look at it in black and white, you can see that there's just a transition of colors. For instance, right here, yeah, that might be a black line between my shirt and my arm, but if you look at it over here, that's not a black line, that's a gray line. And as you go over here, you can see that the color variations are totally different. That is because there is no black line around anything in reality. So how do you create a realistic looking image without actually drawing a black line? Well, the trick to this is something that the art world does. It's called sketching. So you first start off by sketching something and planning it out, and then you take that sketch, transfer it over to something else, and use that very lightly traced image of your sketch to create your realistic artwork just using shading. So yeah, if you remember back whenever we covered value scale and shading, and we made that really fancy looking square where you held your pencil a very specific way and you went around like that in small circles and value shaded in. Yeah, that is why we had that lesson, because that is how you create something that looks realistic. You don't put a black line around it, you make different values with it, because with the different values that you make, it makes a implied transition or an implied line in between the background and the foreground. And that's what we're going to be working on. So what we're going to be doing, you are going to be coming up with a basic sketch, and then you're going to be transferring that over to another page very lightly that you are then going to shade and make it look realistic. It takes time. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, when you think that you're done, you're not. Do it again, and not just do the whole project again. I mean, shade it more. Look at what you're drawing.
Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! I want all of you to look at it!
Okay, you're not going to be able to complete an entire drawing in 5 minutes. It's not possible. And if you think it is possible, you're not doing it right. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into the lesson, which is drawing shoes. So start off the project by finding a pair of shoes that you would like to draw and try to get a picture. Don't draw something from real life, because drawing something from real life, that's very difficult, because if you just move it a little bit or change the angle, it's going to change the perspective of it completely. Start by sketching out the basic shapes of the shoes. Look at the angles, look at the basic shapes, sketch them out, and you can make this as dark as you want on your sketches. Once you get your sketch done, then I want you to transfer that drawing over to another page. Just trace it over, but trace it over very lightly. And remember, you're tracing your drawing. You are not tracing the picture that you looked up on your computer. Don't do that. That is called plagiarism. Tracing someone else's work or photograph does not teach you the fundamentals of drawing. So do not trace. After you get your artwork transferred over, I want you to focus on the picture that you chose and look at it as if you were viewing it in black and white. Try and get the darker values as the darker shades and the lighter areas leave as the white of the paper. Do not make heavy dark lines. Instead, shade to the line that you want to make and use the variations in tones and shades to create the separation you need instead of using a line. That is how you shade realistically. And this project's probably going to take you a few days. In fact, I currently have down that it's going to take you a week. Please do not try and get this done in 5 minutes because it's not going to work. You will have a week to work on this. You'll have plenty of time. Please spend your time to make this as good as you can. Thank you all very much. I'm going to let the video continue playing. If you have any questions, let me know.